This is just a small little test video that I wanted to make. I started playing more DBFZ after the newest patch, and I wanted to see if I could study my own games and give my input on what I could have done better. You people at home can follow along as well. Knowing the fighting game community, it's more than likely that at least one commenter will have the biggest soul reads on what I'm doing wrong in my gameplay and how I could fix it. I'll also tell you the results of each battle beforehand as a primer of what to expect. For example, on this battle, I got fucking smoked. Just know that for this video, I mostly intended it for my friends who I'm trying with all my heart and soul to get into fighting games, but I own literally 0 good beginner games. Unless these ones are one of them, please tell me if they are. I've been struggling with this for weeks. So, see if you can figure out what I'm doing wrong or right, and what the opponent is doing wrong or right. Not to imply it is a correct way to play fighting games.
Get ready! One more time!
This is my target. Here comes
Your What's going on?
I will terminate my target.
Saw that on you. One more time. You're up, Vegeta. Beat me. I've got this. Sorry for the time. What? Let's go. Take this.
Give me your best.
Now I'm mad. Let's go.
Check out this.
This is the stance.
I continue to improve.
Over here.
Give me your best. Give me your best.
It's ready.
So, have you got your answers down? Cool. Here's what I personally think about this round here. I was panicking from the shit this guy or girl was doing, and I ended up button mashing like an idiot most of the time. This is called preemptive play, and it's basically the pro gamer way of saying, "No, I'm not button mashing, I'm totally just that good, man." Jokes aside, in this instance, I was absolutely just button mashing. While it does work a few times, namely this moment where my hit is able to get a decent little combo on base Goku because I intentionally did the 5M into 5H, which is much faster than Goku's EX grab, it more than often didn't. You can see here that because this Gyro is having a functioning brain, they end up playing it safe most of the time and only hitting me when they know full well they can get away with it. This is called passive play, and it beats the method I was technically using. To put it simply, they're just waiting for me to whiff or for them to block an attack that's unsafe on block and then punish me for continuing to think I was that guy. I also never really ended up changing my methods. The only time I really did was in the first round and it worked to great effect, until I messed up and started preemptively striking. I tried to switch to a more passive playstyle with hits right here, and because my opponent was also playing passively, they ended up just being able to punish the 21 recovery frame counter. This is also an issue you'll see throughout this entire video, but I'm also just really bad at using my meter. If I had vanished here instead of just sitting in my own filth, I might have been able to reset neutral, but because I didn't, even with a full 7 bars that I don't know what the fuck I was saving it for, I got bodied instead. In short, I was button mashing, and my opponent just kind of waited out my temper tantrums and comboed me, or just hit me with assist setups that I was panicking too much to block.
The battle's about to start. Good luck.
This next one is against a guy more on my skill level, and with a name I can actually pronounce without worrying about offending someone, and I end up winning this time, albeit barely. Same as before. See what me and this guy did wrong, and think about it as I give my personal answer on what I felt like this guy and I could have done better. Only difference is, this time, I want you to focus on that playstyle thing I mentioned previously. There was one style I neglected to mention for no reason other than to piss you off specifically, but if you're smart, you'll get it.
Ready? To kill you!
Pathetic worm.
You are unfit to serve. Come in. You finish them off.
I didn't feel that. Won't be able to block this.
This will end. I'll deal with you first. Don't laugh to
Foolish.
Take this. Do it. Unthinkable.
Good. Now I can have some.
Come nicely. Is that all? Is that all? Enjoy oblivion!
Ever see this move?
There's no escape. Tremble in fear! Revenge downfall! What's going on? You here shall be destroyed! What's going on? You're in for a treat! Get ready!
Fine.
How's this? Do What's going on? This is the end. Down you go.
I'll be the one to kill you.
My plan.
Pathetic work. I'll put you out of your misery. Pathetic work. Much more pathetic work. This will be over soon. Ever see this one? Enjoy oblivion! Take
It's time for you to die.
I can take you on my own. Give me a hand here. I'm unstoppable. Give me your best.
You here shall be destroyed!
try to block this.
Must attain perfection. There's a chance against this unyielding body of mine. This is the end.
Try to block this.
Counter.
Here goes. Won't be able to block this. This is the stance. I continue to improve.
Extreme.
Impossible!
All or nothing. Fight it out.
This will be over soon.
Quite confident in my speed.
See this one?
I'm quite confident with the speed here. You are unfit to serve.
Ever see this one? Hello.
Playtime's over.
It's you. Pathetic work. Pathetic work. Pathetic work.
This is where you die. This will end.
Try to block this.
I'm standing.
Miserable. Very well. I can enjoy oblivion. Try to block this. You pass. Won't be able to block this.
I've attained perfection.
To kill you. Where do you think you're going to block me? Transparent. Where do you think you're going to?
I will rid this universe of every last sailor.
Pathetic work.
I've had enough saying.
Pathetic work. Impossible!
That was a much less one-sided fight, wouldn't you say? But anyway, write down your answers. You got them? I can't respond to you, so don't actually answer out loud. And if you did, you look like a moron. As I told you to focus on the styles on display here, I'll do something similar. The main thing I want to point out here is how often we end up switching styles. In the first round especially, one of us would try to do the boring block strings or just spam some BS in neutral, and then the other would do a move that would counter that respective playstyle, like here, with how my Broly was stomping around at nothing, and seeing this, Sora ends up Goomba stomping me with their Broly. But then, I would also end up playing a bit more smart with my Goomba Stomps, and I end up catching them in a 2M, ending Sora's most problematic character. You can also see a great example of how styles can counter one another. At this point, I noticed they were attacking preemptively, and so I decided to wait for them to attack and then punish them with 2 supers that killed them. There's also an interesting thing going on in one part of this. Here, we are both playing identically, attacking without thinking, guerrilla style. But I keep losing neutral for one simple reason: Z Broly just has better buttons. Of course, I don't know any of my armored normals, or if they could beat Z Broly, so that also contributed to my ass beating here. One thing I really want to point out here is just how reliant they are on the same block strings. You'll be able to see this more often in later fights, but right here, for example, I got hit by binding Kamehameha. So now that I fully expect that, I just start mashing buttons the moment they do the move right before they did the Kamehameha last time. And what do you know? I won that interaction. And then I ended up landing most of my block string catches because I ended up waiting for a second before doing my next move, which would catch them not respecting my buttons and I'd get a combo out of it. But keep in mind how often I really do this and how often it ends up working. I also don't really do overheads at all. This is just down to my lack of in-depth knowledge about my characters and their unique overheads, assuming they have any. I didn't ever do 6M out of 2M with Broly because I was afraid of getting caught and then getting comboed for it. And I never did 2L with Hit because I knew they would not respect my buttons at all and just start mashing on incoming. I also never really ended up using Parasitic Takeover that much, though once again, this was down to my lack of in-depth knowledge about characters. I really only knew about Black's A assist here, hence why it's the only one I used. Another round, another victory for me. This time I end up winning twice in a row after getting bodied the first time. But why do you think that's how the cookie crumbled? Better start writing your analysis down now. This time, I want you to focus on adaptation. You can't just do the same things over and over and expect to win every time. So what do either of us change, and what do either of us not change? By the way, how do you say either or either in that sentence? I actually don't know.
All or nothing. This is it. I'm going to show you true power. Useless. See how you like this? Useless. I'm going to enjoy I've got you. See how you like it? See how you Guess I'll be finishing this. I'm going to enjoy this. Not what I was thinking. Over here. I'm not gonna hold anything back. Keep trying. Over here. Kill them. This is where you die. This is over. Denied. It's useless. Gotcha. I'm over here. Not what I was thinking. Over here. Yeah, son of a bitch. Denied.
Transparent.
I'm not gonna hold anything back! Maximum power! I can do this too, you know! Counter! Take this! I will rid this universe of every last thing! Take this! You pest! Denied! That all you got? No! I don't believe this! Are you ready? I'll let you finish them up!
Try like this. I didn't feel that.
I'm going to show you true power! Let's go! Prosecco! Prosecco! I've got You've done it now! I'll take it!
I will terminate my target. Here goes. Try like this.
This is the end. Not what I was thinking! I'm over here! Time to show you a thing or two!
Give it your best. There you are. Oh.
Maximum power!
Here goes.
Denied! Denied! Maximum power! There you go!
Take this. Take this. Here goes.
Get ready! Let's go!
Where do you think you're going? Get ready! Where do you think you're going? It's over!
Universe of every last thing! This is where you die! Prepare to be vaporized! See how I did the sky? Pitiful! You're going down! I've got him! What's going on? Yes! Evil attempt! It begins! I'm done with you! The one
Check out this.
Experience pain like never before!
What a game and what a way to fumble the first round. But how come I ended up fumbling that badly in the first place? The simple answer is adaptation. My opponent keeps changing up his style just as I change my style, and it worked to great effect. I was playing a bit aggressive with hits, and my opponent decided to try and catch me with preemptive strikes, and it worked. I was playing like a gorilla with Broly, and my opponent decided to wait me out and react to my preemptive strikes, and it worked. I was playing more passively with Baby, and my opponent decided to just rush me down and prevent me from playing the game entirely, and it worked. There were also some smaller moments, like how in the beginning of round 2, I tried to play a bit more carefully with my Super Broly attacks, which worked against their passive play, but then I got too cocky and ended up fumbling. I still end up taking out Vegito by paying attention to the fact they're swinging around like an idiot, and then waiting for them to do something I can punish. But that's still not it for adapting. In round 3, you might have noticed that when I got them into the corner with Super Broly, they would start doing everything they could to stay in the air. This was because my game plan before this round was largely to push them into the corner and then bully them on the ground. But if they're in the air, I can't exactly bully them anymore, can I? And this obviously works because I lost Super Broly really early in that round. Finally, I want to place more emphasis on that better buttons thing I mentioned before. In moments like this, I try to clash with Vegito, but I end up losing because he has a multi-strike button which beats out Hit's buttons. But then in other moments like this, I consistently get counters because Hit simply is just that guy and beats most other buttons. This is just another example of character knowledge. Had this guy known that Hit just had better normals, they likely would have waited for a punishable attack and then start trying to strike me. But because they either didn't, or they have the I didn't pay $60 to block mentality, they end up trying to challenge Hit, and, for lack of a better term, getting hits by hits for trying to hit hits.
The outcome of this fight is anybody's guess!
Yep, it's Sora again. And I don't think I need to tell you this, but if I won last time, it's a decently high chance that I sweep this guy this time. The gimmick for this one is assist calls, mainly mine, because despite sweeping, I still make a lot of mistakes in that area.
It's all or nothing! Useless! It is unwise.
Here goes. Won't be able to block this. Give me your best. Take this.
Counter! Counter!
Take this. Won't be able to block this. Transparent. Give me a hand. Here goes. This is the stance. I continue to improve. Take this. Contain.
This is the end! It's divine fury! This is the end!
I should be able to rest easy. I'll get you out of your misery.
Let's go!
Never before! It's over for you!
Chance against this unwieldy body of mine!
What's going on? Useless. Here. Feeble attempt.
Useless!
Tremble in fear. Revenge stop ball.
All or nothing. Let's go.
It is unwise to make you wait.
Switch out. Foolish.
Bye! Out this!
Watch your back. Come here. I suggest you surrender.
How dare you order me around? This is the end!
Give me your best. Take this. I'll do the following. Take this.
It is unwise to make you wait. Unthinkable.
Now I can have some.
Nothing but dead weight. Useless. Feeble attempt. This is where you die.
Is that all?
This is where you die.
You pass. My target.
Futile.
Attain perfection!
I'll be the one to kill you.
Useless. Yeah.
Pathetic work.
Useless.
Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? Destroy you with my tongue. Pathetic worm. Saving this. Take this. Try to block this. Won't be able to block this.
Alright, not as one-sided as you probably expected it to be if I had to guess, but that's for a simple reason. My assist calls were dookie ass. Check this out for example. I do an unsafe block string, because I don't know the hit block strings, and despite knowing it's unsafe at this point, I still end up just not using an assist to make it safe. And I do this for basically no reason as well, since Baby's A assist comes back in like 3 seconds. I did end up somehow calling both assists at once, and it did work for me, but then I just tried to do it again with no assists. And speaking of that moment, what's another thing you might have realized about my shitty ass block strings of hit? The fact that I keep doing the low, despite knowing full well from the previous strings and the entire match I had with Sora previously that they prefer to block low. And the one time I do the overhead, I end up winning that interaction. Funny how that works, huh? I also want to point out the Baby gameplay on display here. This is probably the best example I have of using your character's toolkit to its fullest. For those of you who don't know, Baby's ki blasts all come back if they initially missed, with one of his blasts coming back even if it was blocked. I used that ability about 3 separate times, twice as a pressure tool where I shot blast, waited for them to come back before rushing down the opponents. And once where I used it as a setup tool, albeit this was totally accidental, but if I was a smarter player, I could act like this was completely intentional, so I'll just write this part as if it was completely intentional. I am already playing decently passively here, enough to where any surprise moves aren't going to catch me slacking. I shoot a few blasts, reflect the Kamehameha that I was able to react to, and because I know this guy is going to super dash to negate my ki blast, I end up using my 5H to get a combo off on Cell. There was one more battle after this, but it was against this exact guy again. And for the sake of this video, I won't include it. The only thing I probably would have said is how in this match they consistently don't respect my buttons and end up getting countered a lot for it. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, whatever, comments. I hope you commented because that was like the whole gimmick of this video. Yeah, see you later, I guess. I don't know if I'll make another one of these videos.